Hi, Garrett. How are you?
I'm doing good, Miss Kathy. Doing good. Watching all this free entertainment.
So I am so excited for everyone to meet Garrett because I think that as a resource, you will see that he has so much knowledge of all sorts of other ways of looking at this reality that could really help your life. And today we're going to talk a little about the Sasquatch, but we can talk about dragons. We could talk about all sorts of things because Garrett has Navajo background. He grew up on the reservation, and he has been in tuned with other realities for how long? For most of your life?
I would say since my spiritual awakening that happened in 2008, that's when all of this really started to blossom. But when you really think about it, a lot of us have done this work many times before. So it's like, okay, here we go again. So, all right, this time I chose to embody the Navajo costume. I call it. So we're doing the whole indigenous again. So it's like, all right.
Okay, well, this time I can do more that way. Well, you guys, one of the reasons, and I'm so excited because Garrett is so full of positive energy, and he is like a battery pack for everyone. So if you're starting to feel a little down after all of this, and the novelty of working from home is sort of wearing off, this is another way for you to tap into the higher purpose of all of this. So, Garrett, how do you see this pause? And while you do that, I am going to invite some new people, so you can take it away as long as you'd like. How do you see this whole change time period?
Well, as I put it out there, the analogy that I had provided, right now, collectively speaking, humanity, Mama Earth has sent everybody to their rooms. And what happens when you send your child to the room first? They throw a tantrum fit, right? And then after that tantrum starts to calm itself down, and then mama says, so what do we have to learn about this, guys? Right?
Ah,
And oh well, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe I, had to learn something from this. So what is the lesson, right?
right.
So now, just from this observership, what I'm seeing is just where everybody is. Yes, we went through sort of the freak out fear phase, and now we're in this stasis, right? But
Uh,
now it's like, okay, well, what do we do with ourselves? What do
right.
we do? Well, I'm distracting myself by looking at all these postings and theories and news articles and channel links.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, exactly. It's like, guys, you already know all the answers. Right here. Look right here. Why are you still seeking all this external, these awarenesses? So that's where I've been sure to share with everybody. Say, okay, look in the mirror. If we have the mirror up in front of you, if you're being triggered or if you have all this reflective time now, no more excuses, right? You have all the time in the world, so you got to be doing the work. You got to be working on yourself, to see what those triggers are, to see how these traumas are coming to surface. And now it's like, well, what are we going to do about it, guys? What are we going to do about it? And so, in that sense, again, like right now, everybody's like playing the blame game, pointing the fingers, and then all sorts of retaliations going on. So, what I've been sharing with individuals in the last couple of lives that I've shared about what to do is to be in the state of neutrality. So, neutrality in this space, and some of you have already known because, when you look back a few months ago, there was this sort of external observership that was going on, right? So it was like we were being disconnected from reality, right? And you even thought to yourself, well, is this even real? And you're like, I don't feel like I'm connected to my job anymore. I'm not even connected to my blood family. Wow, this is weird. Garrett, what's going on? I'm like, that's okay. You're just being more of that observership. And so now it comes to fast forward to now, and you realize, oh, that's why, because all that chaos, if I was still caught up in that reality, I would have been all bombarded with all this heaviness, right?
Right, right. And that's not your job, right? I mean, that's what I keep thinking. I mean, I'm curious about all the stuff going on, but it's my job's to hold the light, not to really go there. So
Mm-hmm.
to bring in possibilities, and I think that's what I love about what you do. That's
Mm-hmm.
your constant theme is, hey, you guys are divine beings. Want me to tell you some more of
Yeah.
that?
Yes, exactly. And that's one of the premises with regards to Sasquatch and how they have shared with me their awareness and their knowledge, specifically through a word that they had provided. It's called Unan Ki, pronounced Unan Ki, right? And what this word means is what it translates to is the U, the Nan, and the Ki. So U, ever expansion, like continuous aspect of our being,
Uh-huh.
source. Nan means alignment, like within our being, and Ki, here. So meaning like the divine aspect of our being, the creator aspect of our being, has always been within you. So what I've translated that to really mean is like the cosmic starlight. I am the cosmic starlight. We are the cosmic starlight. So the cosmic essence has always been within us.
Right.
And so, again, yes, so when the Navajo awareness, growing up among the people, the elders have always shared with us that the blood, our blood is direct connection to Mama Earth because that iron mineral comes from however it is we obtain, that mineral. So from the iron core of the planet. So through the foods or through the animals. So we are directly connected to the earth. We are children of the earth.
Right.
And then Sasquatch said, where do you think, they asked me this question and said, well, where do you think this iron comes from? And I said, oh, it's during an exploding supernova. And they're like, yes. So that's the cause. You're now literally that iron. So when you think of all the asteroids and all that, they always have the composition of iron in it, right?
Right.
And so in that awareness, that's where Sasquatch was sharing with me that, yes, see, now you're getting it, that Unaki cosmic starlight literally also has been in you all this time. And
Wow.
where they're bringing this awareness again, it's like working with the creator aspect of our being, working in unity with our heart, resonating with the Unanki, right? To operate as best we can throughout, being on this embodiment.
So I also want to let everyone know that if Garrett's sound is going in and out a little bit, it's because of his frequency, and it may also be because of the beings that are here. So don't worry, it is not. You can't take control of your TV set. This is the outer limits. Well, and that's what's so wonderful is that everything that's coming through him is quite inspired. Okay, so I have some friends that have done a lot of Sasquatch stuff where they go camping, and my friend Angie LaRue actually has worked with some of the children. The adults apparently aren't sure about her, but the teenagers are. Um,
Yes.
and so tell us a little bit about. I mean, they're real and they can go in and out of dimensions, right?
Yes, that's correct. So one of the main reasons I always laugh about this because it's like you see those shows Finding Bigfoot, you
Yeah.
have researchers and the science aspect, right? And they're
Right.
going out there trying to find Sasquatch and have their experience. And all this entire time, Sasquatch is behind them, kind of doing that.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because they have access, they know how to be in the quantum field, in the quantum state of their being. So when they come into the 3D matrix reality, their vibration is so high, it just like vibrates in their body. So those moments in which they actually physically operated and came within my field, my energy field, my whole body was just shaking like this. You guys are too much. So I'm just saying like, it's just shaking like that. And of course, the reason for that is because they fade in and out of the quantum. They allow themselves to be seen, the right people, or connect with those because they know they're telepathic beings. You know how to connect with your heart to see if you're resonant with the heart because they're very childlike. They're very childlike beings. They resonate very much with the energies of the Lemuria, hearted ones, because it's all about the expression of inner child, the joy. So when you're in your space of that resonance of the child, your inner child singing, they're gonna come closer to you, and then you're gonna start to feel that shift. Like right now, I could feel like three of them right behind me.
I know, I can
It's
too.
like they're tickling me. They're like, okay, tickle, tickle, tickle.
That's because they know you're talking about them and they want us to know. That I think it's time for a lot of us to know, even though I mean so they travel through quantum wormholes, right? And so
Correct.
are they on other planets and they just, or do they live here in Earth mostly?
They're all over. So there are some Sasquatch that stay on the ships. They work very much in connection with our star brothers and sisters. And so these are the cool Sasquatch too, because they're the ones that have the highlighted hair. So they have like pink hair or they have the blue hair, you
Really?
know, galactic, right? So the imagery that they always share with me is that they're like Chewbacca from Star Wars. They
That's what
always
I was going to ask about Chewbacca. Is that where they got that from?
yeah, they did because the influence because a lot of when you look at the media today, the TV, the certain shows and certain movies, there's certain messages in there that we sent back to this particular time. So
Okay.
now we're really thinking quantum. So our future aspects sent those messages back for that creator or that storyline to bring it into reality now to give us that awareness. Oh, that's what that means, right? So
Right.
that when you're operating outside the matrix and looking into a bigger perspective, you get your aha moments, you get your validations. A lot of the times, when Garrett's giving homework with individuals, I always say, you need to watch this movie, watch this show. This is the thing. So
You should
I
be
give my homework.
You should be posting that. I mean, I've had, so first of all, I want you to know that there's people on here, Lilac and Elkie from Australia's here, and Rachel and
Hi, Elkie.
hi, Elkie, and Terry Willette says, I have a dear friend who is very connected to Sasquatch. One of her guides is one. And then
Yes.
Brenda's saying hello. So hello, everyone. So if you have questions about this, or you have an inkling that you have some connection and want to work with the Sasquatch, please ask a question so we
Yes.
can go deeper on this subject. So when you think about you mentioned about the ships, and I'm seeing and feeling so much activity right now.
Yes.
So how do you see, they're all watching what's going on here because this is the greatest show in town, right? Um, it's like,
They're already on board, Kathy. That's why they're like, we like her. We like her. So let's get her on board.
well, I do ask to go up and work with the Arcturians and go to the gate, the Ascension Gate, almost every night
Uh-huh.
so that I can hold more light. So I am consciously asking that, but I don't know. I never. This whole thing has been surreal, and I also think it's been so amazing how I wasn't sure how all of this change was going to happen. I knew I was here for it. I knew
Yes.
that it was coming. You could feel it in your bones. You
Yep.
could see who the people were that were going to help lead. I mean, I would almost see them. I don't know how to explain it, but light-wise around their body and everything, you could tell who were the people that were going to help guide
Yes.
through this. And but this has been ingenious. And I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings talking about this, but having a virus, which is, it's a war against a virus, not against another country, not against a person, that causes us to pause that causes us to go inside.
Yes. See,
Yeah. So can
you
you,
got it, Kathy.
I
You
know,
got it.
I know, but talk about it, what your vision of it, because I mean, I just have a little piece of it. I'd love to hear your vision of it.
Yes, and that's sort of exactly, you're right on the mark there, because that is exactly what in that awareness. So when you're looking at it from the neutrality, as I mentioned before, being neutrality, being in the observer. Now we get in trouble a lot because we're emotional beings. So that sensitive part of our being, our emotional body wants to go into savior mentality. But
Right,
that time's over. We can't be in savior. That was age of Pisces. No more. Now it's in the age of golden age where we're supposed to be in unity, right? The oneness, the true aspect of our being, right? So in that neutrality, now you're seeing all this opposition. You're seeing the playing of the game. I like to refer to it as a game because
yeah,
to me
that's perfect.
that's how it is. It's like all these factions are involved, and all the chess players are here. Someone going this way, so there's this going on, right?
Right,
Being in neutrality, you step out of there, and you're like, okay, I'm not engaged in that. Because if everything is energy, right? The minute you go into that engagement, whatever your thought is at that moment, it's coming
right.
back, coming back, right? So if you haven't done any of the work, guess what? Those lessons are coming back and slapping you. They're slapping you.
Well,
you know?
you get to see it like, what if, so you're triggered, and then you can go, what if I didn't respond that way? What if
Mhm.
I didn't have that respect, that motion, or that story,
Exactly. That
right?
pattern or that program, that trauma. So in that space of neutrality, it's where you got to remember and know that we have choice. That's one of the things too that Star Nations have shared with me is remind the people, remind your brothers and sisters that they've always had choice.
Right,
So
right.
when you're in that space of neutrality, this is where it's like, oh, well, I can choose to react this way. And if I do so, guess what's going to happen? Right? Everybody's going to be starting to throw their comments and all their heaviness. And because they're playing that blame game, they're pointing the finger, right?
Well, it's
Or,
fear.
I, exactly, based off fear or
Fear.
based off.
If you can have compassion for them, because you see that and you go, whoa, I didn't respond that way, I didn't see that way at all. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I interviewed somebody and somebody attacked him, and I
See?
tried it, and I tried again. You can see it on yours, I'm sure too, where it goes against their core beliefs, their
Yeah,
training, right, their conditioning, and
correct.
and so I tried to reason, and then I deleted.
Yeah, because it's energetically. So this is also to what I've been and really just getting everybody to be in your neutrality. Watch your reactions. If you choose to engage, just know that yes, there's going to be more consequences in that engagement because the energies are magnified so much right now that whatever you're putting out there, it is. I hate to put it that way, but it does feel like you're getting slapped and getting pushed around, and all this is going on, right? So instead, be in neutrality, be in your vibrancy, be in your creation, right? Joy, however it is that you wish to express yourself. Joy, happiness, singing, allowing the child to play. So when you're in that vibrancy, guess what are you attracting? All the beautiful positive experiences, the healing experiences, your aha moments. Oh, that's why that had to happen. Yes, silly human.
Wow. So this is really interesting. Cheryl's saying that we have an echo. Cheryl, Garrett's energy is so high. We are lucky this is working at all. So you have to understand that little echo is no consequences here. Because if you go meet him on Facebook, you'll see his recordings, and every single time people are going, can't hear you. What's going on? It's because he's got so many other light beings with him, and high dimensional beings, quantum beings with
Yes. And
that.
then of course you
And
have
we're doing
animation.
the best we can. But thank you, Cheryl, for letting me know. But
Yeah.
got Crystal here. We've got Noelle and Bob here. We've got Alana here and Cheryl here. So thank you guys for coming. If you have questions about Sasquatch, and really hard to hear, she said, I'm sorry to say. We'll do the best we can. Maybe the recording will be better. It seems like that happens too.
Yeah, and sometimes too, what I find helpful, Cheryl, on your end, whatever platform you're using, if it's your phone or if it's your PC, get yourself some earplugs and just plug it in directly. I find that sometimes is helpful because, again, the static or the interference is coming in from the vibrancy. I hate to say it's normal, but it is.
Well, yeah. Well, when we first got on, you guys, he was black and white. He wasn't even in color. They were playing with it.
Yeah.
I had no sound. As I watched it, I had to tune in, and here I am hearing. Yeah, Lana is. So, no, you have to understand a lot of these people are amazing energy people, too. So they'll get it. Earplugs, she says. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to multidimensional quantum. Because you have access. And do you teach other people how to have access?
Yes. So I like to look at that from the perspective of flavor. So whichever flavor that you wish to work with, you know, so like if you're working with the flavor of the star languages, we're all different facets, like a rainbow as a diamond, many sparks, that is the soul. So depending on where the frame is, the language can shift. That was an elemental. So these are, again, so from that access, you know, it students when you're giving
the fairies are here too, and Sasquatch. You can feel, and there's a whole bunch. This is a crowded space. Thank you so much. I love your energy. Thank you. So you guys, Garrett does this incredible light language, and what it is, at first it was like, is that Navajo? Because I don't know Navajo, because it almost sounded familiar.
Yes.
So when did you start speaking light language? Was that 2008?
No, actually, that came in 2016. Yeah, 2016. And it was at the Psychic Sasquatch retreat. It was up in Washington. So when I was invited to go there to speak about Sasquatch and to speak about my experiences, later that final night, I remember I was out there with 5 other individuals, and the Star Nations were there, and we were taken on a ship, and we were activated, right? And all of a sudden, I just came back out. I started speaking the languages were coming back because I was remembering those aspects of me in which I've embodied Arcturian, Pleiadian, Andorian, or what Sasquatch. So when you think about the quantum part of our being, multi-dimensional aspects, past, present, and future, as well as galactic, I mean, we're huge.
Yeah, we got a big battery pack if we connect in, right?
Exactly.
Well, Crystal's coming in great here. Can we share more about connecting with Sasquatch and what possibilities are here for us to grow?
Kenastara kesto oyakandi mekiri. So Sasquatch loves singing. So one of the things that we've come into awareness about the Sasquatch people, when their language comes out, it's very high, but very not as developed, because the Sasquatch people don't have vocal cords.
Oh.
Yep. So they communicate, their primary source of communication is telepathy, telepathic, right?
Okay.
But when they do speak, when they speak, their words are not like really as developed. It comes out more like hoots and sounds, howls. Thanks, guys. They're talking to me right now. Whistles. They're saying whistles, and they're saying tweets. So tweet, 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 like that. So they mimic the animals, they're very in tune with the earth. So they mimic different frequencies from the animals. But their language, growl, thank you. I love it because I could hear him really clear on this side. So he's like, we talk like this, we talk like this, we talk like this, right? So sometimes when those individuals, you're having your experience or you're out camping, you hear this like a growl. But that's just the hi. Right?
And you didn't
run. Your poor human's like, ah!
Right? Your reptilian brain goes, I'm dinner. Oh my gosh.
And then the poor Sasquatch was like, well, they wanted to communicate and we are communicating and they took off running. We understand that. See, so that is why a lot of the times, when I have those individuals who are say they're ready, I'll say, okay, guys, if you think you're ready, and then I'll go up to them and just write that, and then they jump back. I said, there's your answer. That's why they haven't showed themselves. So humans, we have to really harmonize and get in connection with that response, that flight or fight, which is connected to our mental body. So the easiest way to establish connection that they share with us is to sing. They said, just sing whatever song. Like you could even be like, happy birthday to you, right? Yeah. Because when you're in that space, what does it do? Energetically, it puts you, harmonizes back into the heart, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's no sense of fear. So when the Sasquatch come closer and come closer and come closer, you're so in that childlike space. Oh, there's nothing scary about you. You're back into your innocence,
Oh, that's beautiful. So Noelle could, anyway, people are loving all of this. Thank you. Noelle says, a friend of mine says she connects with Sasquatch. She says she can tell when they are around because of stinky smell.
Yes, that's correct. So that is a huge validation. So when I came into contact with them for the first time, my first ever communion with them, that's what I noticed right away. It was like they were in their quantum field, and then one came right behind me, and then I was like, "Ooh, what is that smell?" And it was very musky. It was very earth, like a damp earth, musky smell. And I was told that those were the males. So the Sasquatch who are in tune with more of the damp earth, musky smell are males, and the females they smell more perfumey, so they're flower-like. Yeah. So a lot of times, when I'm talking about them like this, people will start catching whiffs, because that's their guides coming in, and they're telling me right now that they're meaning like they're sending out those projections for individuals who are curious. So some of you listeners right now are maybe getting a whiff of smells. Some of the smells are coming in as like tree roots, like spruce tree, damp earth, like wet earth, and then you have the flower ones. So if it's flower light, just know that's female.
Wow. Okay. So, and what are they saying? I mean, for you, first of all, you're getting telepathy when you're talking to me. How, first of all, let's talk about that. Because when I hook up, me gets out of the way, and then your higher self usually comes through. How do you manage them and you and
that is a very good question, Kathy. I don't know how this 3D body holds all these frequencies, honestly. I said I just do my best. So what they have, at that. So when the languages are coming in so fast, so it does feel like I'm getting a workout because the body's like, So what they said is breathing through the nostrils. So when I there, and then it's like my body realigns and resets. Because when you're in the quantum field, and this you can understand this because this is very notorious of the Arcturians. I say Arcturians in human forms, when they communicate, it's like this. And it's like just
yeah.
Your body is kind of like, okay, super ADD times 10.
But actually, it's gotten much easier. It's gotten so much easier. It used to be that way, but now it's like, okay, you're here. Thanks,
Yeah,
thanks for coming when I called. Um,
exactly. Yeah. Like,
and
thanks, guys. Yep.
yeah, but they're still they may be higher dimensions, but they're still in our grasp. Whereas when you're talking about quantum, that is you know it's got so many other aspects that our sensory system isn't normally built to.
Correct.
So how do you do that?
Correct. Yes. So that's the mental body. So the human part of our being. So the mental aspect, which is connected to the egoic mind.
Well,
So when the star nations are coming through and bringing forth all this information and all these energies, the
mhm.
human body and mind can't even fathom to be process all of it. It's like, what the heck is he saying? And I'm like, yeah, don't know what he said. So he's trying to be and really translate, but that's where the fluidity is important. So So when we're in the fluidity, in the flow, our feels and our bodies are flowing rather than being stagnant. So the mental part of our being in this 3D body density, so it's the compression of the molecular structure of our being. It's all compressed, it's all dense, it's all having this experience. But the more we elevate and expand by increasing vibrancy, right, your vibrational aspect of your being physically, then you are becoming like a sponge. So then so things switch. If they switch, so like I stand there, so that part of your being becomes a lot more flow. So just being that conduit, and doing your best. The
Yeah,
minute you think like, well, what am I saying? Or I don't understand this, you fall out.
right.
You fall.
Well, and a lot of times I find it's in a package that comes in, and I don't unpack. I used to get really frustrated. It's like, could you guys slow down so I could get it? And then it was like, oh, it's fine. I'll get it later.
Yeah.
It because it's all in divine timing. But then you'll feel like then all of a sudden your foot will itch, and it's like, okay, I'm supposed to be in my body while I get this.
Hmm.
Right. So they know that. So Cheryl's saying, I see other beings are talking at the same time he is. It's not an echo, it's different words.
Yeah. So sumultaneously can, because in that quantum, so that other aspect of my being, wherever it is, whatever star system it's come from, it's almost like it's trying to merge into this 3D reality, but this density can't support it. So that's why it's like a lot of times when I fade in and out and people, oh, you're losing your face, or if it's pixelated, that's all the quantum and the aspects are coming in, trying to, relay the information or bring forth those transmissions. Okay, come on. So it's quite entertaining, as they say.
Well, I think it's such a gift what you're doing, and the fact that you teach and you do readings and
Yes,
you make jewelry, the beautiful necklace you have on, you
yes. I'm wearing this piece that I made,
it's beautiful.
and yes, it's kind of like, when people asked Garrett the question, I was like, Garrett, so what do you do? I said,
I don't know.
yeah, it's just more. I go, no, I think the best way I can answer that is maybe like, what don't I do? Because a lot of us have done this work many, many times over and over and over. So those parts of my being that are affiliated with the indigenous side, being the medicine person, working in the Lakota tradition, working in the Mayan tradition, working in the Inca tradition, just to name a few. So those aspects of my past lives are also operating right now.
Right.
And so being of service is like we harness, we access that memory because those memories are in our being. They're all stored here. They from the metaphysics side of things, they call it Akashic records, right?
Right.
That energetically, but there's also those memories in our physical aspects, in our cells, in our DNA. It's all stored there.
Right.
So now with this expansion and with everybody doing the work, they're regaining access of these memories and say, oh, that explains why I resonate with dragons so much because I was Celtic before or I was a druid before. Oh, that explains why I'm so connected to ruins because I was Nordic. Yes, silly.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Okay, so people are saying, I feel they are giving us downloads. Feeling heart expansion, thank you. I smile the whole time he's on. I am Lakota too. But
Ay, como.
we're feeling your energy, which is what I was hoping. I'm so glad.
Yes.
Thank you.
Shishara.
I got my first glyph a few days ago. Thank you, Kathy, for setting up the interview. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, guys. And that's what happens, just so you guys know. Once you establish that communication, you're in that joy, you're in your being, your connection, and you're connecting with Sasquatch people, you start getting presence. You start getting the human mind's like, well, I'm not sure if I'm making this up, but the Sasquatch like, well, here's the stone, silly human. We're going to give this. Right?
The thing is we take ourselves so seriously anyway. All of this is a movie. This is all a video game. And if we go, okay, I don't like that character. I mean,
yes, exactly. So going back to what they were sharing around the Unan Kini, so that cosmic aspect of your being, you're harnessing and aligning that energy, and then you're recreating your reality, right? Because why is it that certain programs and experiences keep coming back? Because you haven't mastered the lesson, you haven't neutralized it, or you haven't cleared it. I'm trying to people to stop using the word clearing, but you haven't cleansed it completely out of your field.
Integrated it.
Yeah, it's still coming to you, like, oh, I don't know why. I'm like, you got to get to the root, you got to get to the core, clean it up, neutralize it out, and then go back. Now fill it back in with the vibrancy, the more fun things.
So Garrett, so if I got a reading from you, you would just tap into what's happening right now, or do I tell you what I mean? Well, you're seeing me from a full holistic way. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Do you advise, or do you let me tell a story, which is what it all is?
It depends on what you're needing at this particular moment. And a lot of times, really, when it comes to the guidance, I'm just a conduit, and there's all these scenarios. So I'll bring to your awareness that if you stay where you are, this is what's going to happen. If you decide to turn left, this is what's going to happen. If you go straight, this is what's going to happen. If you go right, this is what's going to happen. So here are all the scenarios. Now, you make that choice.
Right. Well, and
Garrett, that's going to live it, right? Garrett's not going to, it's not my adventure. I said, if you want to stay where you are, then that's what's going to happen. I said, so, that's up to you because we have to honor free will. And I could easily go into my space of saying, I see you doing this. You need to do this. But I said, no, you don't need to do anything because of free will, right?
Right.
So therefore, just know here are all the possible outcomes. And I'm putting them back in your shoes for you to make the best decision based on what you're going to do moving forward. Yeah?
Wow, yeah. So you guys, that's how I originally met Garrett. Is I saw him on Facebook, and he was talking about dragons, and I just got the hit like, oh, you got to find out. And then I tried to get a reading, and it ended up I got a reading from your assistant instead of you. But yeah, and then I've been following you because of Shirley and everything, because I just love your energy. So this period that we're going through, do you have a feeling of how this is? The Bible, the Christian Bible put these whole it put a story into acceptance maybe about this whole rapture the light would hit us, and science has been saying the solar energy and all that, which is, I feel the solar thing is helping us so much to reconnect. How do you see this period happening, or do you have a sense of it, or is it everybody has their own version of it?
Right now, everybody has been given a choice and a reassessment based on where they are in their growth, in their evolution, in their growth of their being.
Uh-huh.
And what I'm noticing is that those ones who are, I hate to put it and come off from this perspective, but it's like the ones that are not doing the work, they're separating out. It's
Okay.
like there is a separation that is going. So some of the theories or messages around a separation, new Earth is old Earth. There is some truth to this because I'm seeing where people, they're caught up in that reaction and they're in fear mode, then they're not going to be in our reality, right? So
Right.
it's almost like there is a split in timeline or in that quantum. It can't really. Then again, that's the mind trying to process what's happening, right?
Right.
So that's what's going on. So again, going back to initially what you were talking about, the virus. So the virus is serving a purpose in that sense too, because if you're going to go into fear and go into that aspect of your being and you realize, okay, I'm freaking out, I'm doom and gloom and all this stuff, then what are you creating? What are
Yeah.
you creating? You're going to fall into that paradigm. You're going to be in that channel and you're going to be stuck. It's easy for me to say this, but it's hard for us to really, keep doing the work and keep our vibe high because we have so much external influence, right?
Right.
But that's why I was emphasizing remaining in neutrality, being in that neutral space, and then let this guide you now, because that's the way of our being moving forward.
Perfect. Yeah. And sing and laugh and dance and do joyful things. So, would you be so kind? Do you have that book that you showed yesterday, Andy? Could you show that too and tell them
Yes.
a little bit about? I want to make sure that they have all sorts. I've got your website, NavajoIlluminations.com. That's where you can reach Garrett if you don't reach him here on Facebook. And we still have 10. We still have time, but I make sure that they have all sorts of ways to experience you. Okay.
Yes. So the Facebook, my Facebook page, has a lot of videos. So
Yeah.
you can rewatch those videos. I talk a lot about this stuff. I giving you tools to work with because that's my job. I'm just doing my best to be the facilitator, doing the best to be a conduit to bring the message. And I'm putting it on your shoes, but you guys got to do the work, right? I can do it for you because it's not my adventure. It's not my,
Right.
So in that venue, so you have Navajo Illuminations Facebook page, videos on there, my personal Facebook page, on my Navajo Illuminations website. I have also a lot of other radio interviews as well as videos as well. All that's all on the website so that you guys can listen to it because you have all the free time in the world now, right?
Not really. Not really. It's so interesting. I'm helping as many people get out there right now that they finally. This was like, okay. I know I've got all these superpowers, and I want to.
Exactly.
I
And
want.
a lot of us are being called to do that to help anchor, but also to re-illuminate, to remind everybody and say, hey, don't get caught up in this illusion, guys. It's just a game. It's just part of the matrix, but here's the tools to help you step out of it. So that's our job, right?
Right, exactly. So
I'm going to share with everyone real quick. So this excerpt, and this is Sasquatch wanting, when the message came through, this was 2 years ago, 2011, I believe. Uniac, the name of my guide, Uniac, which translates to easy going or easy now. He's a white Sasquatch. He had brought forward this channel, and this was the premise of the message. And this is what he wanted everyone to remind yourself. So I'm just going to read this paragraph real quick because it's straight to the point. And this is just something that he wants all of you to know. And then I'll show you the book.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Uniac says, greetings, my younger brothers and sisters. Garrett has allowed this brief channel to bring forth messages to those who have been selected in this group. These selections are only a few for this, as you would call, project. Many of your governments utilize such a word, so why not us also? Of course, our projects will be more beneficial to the collective and will create positive spin, fun spin to its vibration. This is the nature of our message to you this day. Vibration through your spoken words. The energy of this month carries the vibration of the number 111. We encourage you to bring this awareness of the spoken word to your brothers and sisters of humanity. Love spoken out loud to one who hears it increases their vibration, even if there is resistance stemming from their ego. This spoken word will open a window of understanding so that one who hears it will start to appreciate and feel gratitude for themselves. Much chaotic energy in the air and is felt by many of the human collective. I wish to reassure you that your words are making a difference. And then this goes a little bit more, but he just ends it by saying, I love you and thank you for your courage, Uniac. So this was the excerpt that's in my book as part of being the Sasquatch Earth Ambassadors Corporation. So book 3. Yeah, so it's part of a series, but the premise of how this book was created, that because we're moving into oneness, collaboration, the we. So there are a lot of other ambassadors on board who are platforms, who are being that spoken voice, bringing forward messages from Sasquatch. And it just so happens like I was selected and I have me, chapter 21.
Cool.
And there's me. Yeah, so I've been bringing this into individuals' awareness. And if you are wanting to connect with Sasquatch, definitely for sure, when you start reading all the stories in here and the different messages, they're right there with you. They're like watching you in their quantum form, and they're like, okay, and they might be guiding you to certain segments or certain chapters or certain messages, because you don't necessarily have to read it in all in order, because it's all coming from different voices.
I see. Okay, so Crystal put, that's awesome. My clock here on the stove, Eastern time, is set fast, and I just saw 111 prior to you saying this.
See? Validation.
Wonderful words. Thank you. And I need to get your book. I need to read your book. So
yes.
Book.
Yes. So, there's a lot of information in for everyone. And, that big message in there was something that really, it was channeled like 2 years ago, but it really applies to now too. You think about it. And so what Uniac is encouraging us to be, to be in our vibrancy, to be in our loving vibrancy as best as we can. Not saying it's going to be easy because the environment's so chaotic, but at least you guys have tools. And one of the tools, can be the book, right? Or all the other tools that are out there. Sasquatch will give you tools if you connect, working with them that way. Your star nations are going to give you tools. They may activate your languages, Gaston, but that's where, as long as you're in that space of receiving, right? You give yourself permission to receive all this. It's all there. Acá estoy así. It's that simple.
So, Gary, can you tell what you're saying when you're doing the light language? Okay, so
that last little bit there that came through, it was basically, I translated to, it was that simple.
Okay, so but you somehow, so you speak Navajo? You speak?
Yes.
Do you speak Spanish too?
Poquito.
Oh, poquito. I speak it.
Poquito.
Okay, and then light language, and the light language is a combination of all different.
Yeah, I like to call and refer to it as star language. And the reason for that is because, again, in that neutrality, so there are languages that feel very vibrant and bright and light to us. But then the dragon languages, that's a whole nother story. So that's why some people get put off by it, So when they're speaking the dragon language, or they're speaking other languages that sound so vibrant, it's like they automatically shut themselves off and they start judging it, and they're like, that doesn't feel right to me. I'm like, well, because it's primordial energy. You're going beyond the duality of light and dark. You're going into primordial. You're going into that real creative aspect of our being. And so the dragon language is embodied this very much.
So we'll have to have you on again and talk about the dragons, because I have lots of questions about that. And when I got my reading, it was like, yeah, you have your dragon. It's like, I do. I never. It's like,
everybody has the dragons. So it is just embodying. So you'll notice that energy started to expand as I was working, because that's when the dragons, the language, I mean, their wings, like their wings started to cover around me. So that for you, so that's what you're sharing.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Cheryl said, can you speak some dragon language, please? And you did it at the same time.
See, it was starting like I'm not even really reading the comments, but I'm tuning into a lot of times, you know, with everyone's curiosity. It already starts coming forward. Well,
I want to learn how to tune into all that and still not and still be able to be useful. Because when I tune in, I'm out. I'm not necessarily. A lot of times I don't have words. That's what's so amazing about you, is you're able to articulate so well. And when I get real high with the other energies, I'm just there.
So that's part of, like, I bring that awareness to many individuals when it comes to activating their star language. So one of the classes that I provide is Introduction to Star Language, but it really encompasses activating it. And however their language activate is this depends. Okay. So I explain how it, you know, this is where I kind of have to shock the channelers a little bit. It's that if it was true oneness, if we're all we, and we're all no more I, no more me, but it's the we, right? And unity and collective collaboration and oneness, there's no separation, right?
Right.
So therefore, if you're saying I channel this message and this is Jesus, or this is Mary coming through, you're separating yourself. But if in true oneness, your unity, say, well, are we not all? That's that aspect of your Mary that is coming forward.
I got a great question then, because so when I do work with people doing their marketing plans, I ask my higher self to talk to their higher self. And their higher self usually shows me a movie. And so I explain the movie, and usually it'll tell their product names and all the what their best timeline is for them right now to create. But I don't always remember it. It's like I'm just a translator. So I love using Zoom and this technology, because I only get glimpses of the movie and I don't remember all the details. So is there a way that I could stay, because it is all where I'm just tapping into the aspect of them that is me, right?
Yes, so what that is, because that's how it comes forward for me sometimes. Because when I'm doing a reading for someone, everybody always notices that they make a comment that I'm looking off to the side, that I don't look at them, but I look off to the side. I'm looking this way like this, because that movie is playing out. That's the Akashics. So you're watching their storylines at that particular moment.
Here. It's definitely, and I'm interviewing somebody later today who is the only person. She jumped in my third eye with me and went to see the movie with me.
Yeah.
And, she's amazing.
Yeah, and one of the shamanic techniques, as they call journeying, there is an aspect of journey too, where the teacher, back in the day, the teacher would go with the student and they would journey together, and that's exactly what you're describing. So they start to see the imagery, and then when they come back into conscious, right, into the human form, then they start talking about it. And even though those movies are going really fast, the mind can't keep up. But as they're talking about it, they fill in pieces because they all have part of that puzzle, you know?
But the other thing that happens is it's so interesting how once you get the skeleton of it, it's like it's a script, right? But it doesn't have the backdrops all just perfect, or doesn't have all the rest of the movie done. And
Right.
so next time you meet the rest of it, it keeps coming in and filling out so
Yeah.
that it can come into 3D,
Yes.
because it's almost like it has to be spoken or seen to, and then I'm given energy to bring it.
I get them. And what the Star Nations are also sharing, so these movies that we're seeing are versions. So going back to the quantum aspect,
Right.
so this is like along the lines of Shirley's work, Shirley Bostock, is
Like,
that when you start talking timelines, you start talking different aspects, multidimensional selves. You're
yep,
talking about your future self. So those movies are playing out too. So it's like you focus on one, but then it'll split off into another section,
that's
and you're
right.
just accessing one at that moment to bring about that change in this current state of existence. And
Right.
then it affects that reality. So you could neutralize that complete timeline, if you make a change. I mean, I've seen it where some individuals, by running those activations on their genetics, they changed all their descendants, all their future descendants that were supposed to get sick. I saw that whole time change for them. And I was giving kudos to the person, because I said, you do not realize the importance of what you just did. I said, oh my God. I said, it was a huge deal. I said, it was a big deal. And, I said, congratulations for taking responsibility, because you changed everyone's timeline. I said, all that sickness that was supposed to manifest, boom, neutralize it out, and all your beautiful descendants are all healed now.
Okay, so I hate to shift gears because we could do a whole nother hour on that.
You know, right?
Okay, so, Noel Bob asked, what does Sasquatch eat?
Oh, they there's some, it just depends. If you think about it and just apply it from the aspect of the tribal and cultural affiliations, so it depends on where they are. So there are fragments, should say groups, the various groups that are located all across the globe, all across Earth. And so it just depends on that particular environment. So I've heard stories, and Sasquatch has shared, there are groups that are completely vegetarian. They only eat the roots, they only eat the berries, they don't eat any meat. And then you have another group in a different area where meat seems to be the primary source because there's not a lot of plants. Then you have another group that's more ocean, and we hunt, we fish, we like our fish.
Okay.
So it kind of varies depending on the clan and the different tribes.
Wow. Okay. So I hope Noel and Bob that helped you. But they come into our dimension to get their food, or is there multi-dimensional food? Like,
In that state of their being, and shocker, we're going to shock your audience. So where we're moving with this ascension, enjoy your food is all I got to say, guys. Enjoy your food right now. Even if it's bad for you, love it anyway. That is our human part of our being. You think about it, the angels don't get to taste cherry pie,
right.
right? They're pure energy. So in this ascension, as our body becomes more and more crystalline and holding higher vibrancy, we're not going to be eating anymore. So that's where Sasquatch too, it's like, they're eating, sustaining the body, but they don't have to, because they're so quantum and they're so high vibrational anyway. But we're moving to that phase as part of this growth, as part of going into the crystalline form. And I've also, I've been really encouraging everybody. I go, even if it's bad for you, just enjoy it. I go, just enjoy it, because think about it, it's not going to be around anymore. I go, they already showed me that image. I said, it's not going to be around. We're not going to need that sustained sustenance, because if we're too energy, right, we're already living out now.
How soon? Because I did an interview with somebody who was talking about the astrology, and they were in 2024 is the end of this period. So we're in 2020 right now. Do you feel, I mean, how soon should I eat my ice cream that's in the
Yay! Be in the now.
Grader's ice cream? The blackberry chocolate chip is like,
Well, mine is cherry pie, Kathy.
that's why you mentioned it. Everyone, if you want to get in good with Garrett, get him some cherry pie.
Yeah, everyone who knows me, they always bring me cherry pie. It's like, oh, you got the nicest. Thank you.
That's so cute. That's so
You
funny.
know,
Oh,
so
that's
really, you think about this experience. We're in human embodiment. Yes, we had the aspect of our being that was in star essence. We were all angelic, or we had an elemental lifetime. But we're here in human form because we get to witness this transformation, right? We get to experience it. And not a lot of the star crew don't get to. They're like only certain individuals are allowed to come on Earth, right? And so in the traditional aspect, speaking around the beauty way, with regards to the Navajo upbringing, the embodiment of beauty, harmonizing with your beautiful self, but enjoying the beautiful human experience as well. And really, what that comes down to is your senses: seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, sound, right? So when you're in true gratitude and appreciation for all of this, you're just in that real divine alignment with it all. You're in the flow. You're in that real flowy appreciation. So there's a lot of traditions that have been expressing gratitude, 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 right? Practice an attitude of gratitude.
right.
But food, the same thing. If you're enjoying that beautiful experience with the food, right? Regardless if it's meat or if it's plants or if it's something sweet. I
Yeah.
mean, you really ask yourself, you've journeyed several light years to have this experience, and you were chosen to come here. So
Right. Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, no, this is Earth School, and people that talk about it, oh, it's jail and everything. It's like, you guys missed the memo. This is
Yeah.
a chance to well, also, I just feel this uh potential
Yes.
for what we're doing here is going to really magnify for all beings.
And I'm looking at a comment from Cheryl, and I appreciate you, Cheryl, for bringing this into awareness. And this is something that I've been talking about as well on my. If you friend request me, Cheryl, there's a video called "Cooking with Garrett." Yeah, because in that video, I'm demonstrating and bringing to awareness how if we're ascending, right, or if we're increasing our vibrancy, but if the food and water and plants and whatever we're putting in our mouth is not matching our frequency, then what's happening is clashing, right? It's clashing. So this is what Cheryl's referring to, that we're not having a taste for food anymore, because it's like that vibrancy of that food just doesn't fulfill us energetically. Okay. So in the video, I actually demonstrate utilizing the Sasquatch rod and the Sasquatch stick and how to increase the vibrancy so that way it's matching your frequency.
Right.
So that's why it's kind of sharing with everyone. I said, we're going to put Martha Stewart out of business now because, we're taking all of what we thought was cooking. Now we're increasing and adding the vibration element of it.
Right.
And this is what we're doing,
And of course, that's where if everything that you're doing is done with love, it changes the whole vibration again. I mean, this is really a time that we don't have to hurry as much. I've been on time for all these conscious business zones without having to rush to my office. Today, I got like 8 inches of snow, and yesterday was fine, and today it's 8 inches of snow. So there's so much more time to really be present.
Yes.
That's what. So you guys, I hope you're seeing that Garrett is a great resource for you, that you'll be able to ask him lots of questions and really learn more about how you get to connect with your highest purpose and highest being. And his website is NavajoIlluminations.com. I'll put it in the information as well as it's up on the screen right now. And I think someone was kind enough to put it in the comments. So, actually, Lilac's put it's something of your Facebook in there.
Oh, Lilac knows. Lilac is definitely familiar with my work, and she's been doing the homework, and she's been getting drunk on giggle juice, and she loves it. Right?
Oh, okay, good. We're over time, but what is giggle juice? I watched it this night, and I was like, I'm drinking some more of my giggle juice, as if you need it.
That's a good point. Thanks for that, Kathy.
What is it? What is it? Because Noelle, you want giggle juice too, I think.
This is where I always say, well, that's all right. I already have a Cosmic AA class for this, okay? So we're covered. I started Cosmic AA 2 years ago, so we're good. We just need a Muggle sponsor.
It's so funny. What is it, though?
So it's in the video, and I think like 3 videos ago. But what giggle juice is? Okay, so this is. I know we're pressed for time here, but so our body 80% plus water.
Water, right?
Right. So all giggle juice is that we're programming the water with specific intentions.
Okay.
This is where the techniques of what Sasquatch shared with us, the circle, the triangle, and the box. So we're programming the water, the molecular structure of water, to embody certain intentions. And so giggle juice, what I programmed it for was, and the water, it could be spring water. I use distilled because that's the most purest, right? Because it's the most neutral, and then you put that program into it, right? And so it was programmed with giggles to the power of pi. So I put that program into it and let it be in the vortex to charge it and then magnify, the power of pi. So pi 3.14, that scientific. So endless. And I took it out of the portal and I took my giggle shot, and then I was just ready to pass out, and I started slurring. Because that vibration, because we're all water, right?
That's so perfect. Yeah, I do structured water, and I use a magnet, spin it and everything. I do all sorts of. I have blue bottles I put out in the sun with geometry. So I definitely am with you with the water.
Yes.
Definitely.
You need to get you a Sasquatch stick, Kathy, so that way you'll work with their frequency as well. Their techniques are very simple.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Yeah, much easier. And I love the idea of having giggle juice. I really. So
you're laughing it off. You're increasing the highest way to shoot your frequency up is this giggle, ha 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 ha, because your vibrancy, right? Shooting notches.
Perfect. Oh, okay, that's great. So I'm sorry we're going to have to overtime, but during this wonderful transmission, we've talked to Sasquatch, we've talked to dragons, we've talked to we've learned about giggle juice, we've learned about cooking, we've learned about jewelry a little bit. We've learned about your book. We've learned that your
activations, our language activations, the classes,
yeah, it's great.
All over again, like all these different facets.
Your guide is a white Sasquatch. I didn't know there was one.
Yes, they come all different colors. So there are white Sasquatch, there's blonde ones, there's reddish brown hair. So the ones that are here on Earth are more tuned to the Earth tones, right? But as I mentioned, the ones that are galactic and stay on the ships all the time, they're the ones with the bright colored hair. Yeah.
Wow.
Actually the one that brought it to my awareness. Shirley, her Sasquatch is named Zuri. So you can imagine even that name Zuri has a galactic field about it. And I think she said her fur was hot pink. She had hot pink highlights in her fur. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Thank you so much.
You're
And we'll do
welcome.
this again. Thank you so much. And you guys really, yeah, take advantage of this. This is, a positive, joyful attitude. Think of how much you can create and how different your life can be when you get a chance to really see life through Garrett's eyes and have an adventure with all of this because
Mhm.
your imagination is there for a reason. It's to
Mhm.
put you in the direction of who you really are. So thank
Exactly.
you so much, Garrett. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Awesome. Thanks, guys, for joining.
Right. Thank you. See you later. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.